What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back with a brand new episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last time on, we finally confronted Mion, who told us about the very, very tragic history of Himizawa, aka Onikafuchi, in which, basically, to sum it up, was that a lot of people discriminated against them and their traditions for, well, first, them being, like, highly sneering people who thought they were better than everyone else, and also for because Westerners had come into Japan and were getting rid of traditions and moving on to the new age. In World War II, the grandfather of the Somozaki family made sure to bring his fortune up by stealing canned food from a Chinese warehouse from the war. But higher up said or told a rumor that it was human flesh in order to give in to the more fantastical rumors that the Himizawans ate human flesh, just like their urban legends. And now we are meeting with Mion as her final wish for only 30 minutes. And let me tell you, it's a doozy. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. Fuck, man. Just... fuck. I put on my shoes, tapped my toes against the floor a few times, and left. Mion timidly came over. Why is she turning red, all red at a time like this?
腕組んでもいいかな。
It was such a modest request.
別に構わないぞ。
With my permission, her face lit up with gray like a child been given a toy and took my arm.
私に腕を組まれたらなんだか緊張しちゃわない？例えば急に関節技を決められちゃうんじゃないかななんて思ったりとか。
姉妹揃って同じことを言うんだな。思わないよ。全然。
Back when nothing had gone wrong yet, during those nostalgic days of the bus string commotion and Angel mourned, I counted back and was amazed. It had only been 1 week ago. I had been arm in arm with Shion then too. Linking arms with Mion like this really reminded me that they were twins. How much strength they put into it, the sensation of their arms, their warmth, and the blood flowing. I could feel that their living sensations were all exactly the same.
シオンもケイちゃんのことが好きだったみたい。
そうなんだ。
If this were a regular conversation, I might have just jumped back right in the face. Right now, though, no matter what I heard, my mind remained at peace.
ミオンとシオンは仲は良かったんだろ
う。さあ、どうかな。ケイちゃんは自分の右手と左手は仲がいいと思う？
え？右手と左手？それは仲がいいとか悪いとか、そういう言い方で例えるものじゃないな。
そういう関係だから。仲がいいとか悪いとか、そういう尺度では測れない関係。
That didn't sound like it meant they got along really well.
例えば、利き腕というものがあるように、右手と左手には間違いなく優劣の違いがある。もしも鍋つかみが片方しかなかったら、迷うことなく利き腕にするでしょ？そういう差はあったんじゃないかと思う。だからといって左手がなくなったっていいなんて思う人は誰もいないはず。そんなよくわからない関係だね。
多分それは近くにいすぎるから見えなくなっているだけで、きっととても仲のいいことなんだと思う。俺は一人っ子だから、祭りの前日ミオンとシオンが二人してじゃれ合っているのをすごく羨ましいと思った。
ないものねだりじゃないの？双子なんて昔は人をからかったりしてそこそこに面白かったけど、こうして互いがはっきりと異なる個性を持った今では かえって邪魔なだけ。
Were they cursed or were they self-conscious? Their relationship was hard to understand for an outsider. Maybe that wasn't an issue someone like me should intrude on. Just staying silent and nodding gently was the best way to advance the conversation. Mion passed through the wide yard and invited me into the big desolate forest we'd seen on the way in. Such a big forest was a part of their property, so I couldn't help but feel small.
でかい森だな。子供の頃はいい遊び場だったんじゃないのか？
Mion seemed to be silently reminiscing. I couldn't look into her mind, but she was probably thinking back to those fun days when they played as sisters without any antagonism. Every time the wind blew, it caressed the treetops and the leaves, making a swishing, murmuring sound. Mion remained silent for a very long time, thinking back on her younger sister, whom she had gotten rid of with her own hands. There was no need for me to get a word in. Just walking like this, arm in arm, was enough. Mion suddenly stopped and turned.
シオンはまだ生きてる。
What?
本当か？
Mion took a hard look into my eyes and nodded quietly.
誰よりもむごたらしい死に方をさせてやろうとずっと考えて閉じ込めておいたけど、
Fuck.
今日までその方法はとうとう思いつかなかった。
Mion sounded as though she hated Shion, but also deep down she didn't completely detest her. So I took my other hand and wrestled Mion's hair with it. Mion didn't only save me, she saved Shion too. Mion may have become a demon who led many people to their deaths, but she fought against it and was able to save 2 people. As I petted Mion, she narrowed her eyes in an entranced smile and untangled her arm from mine. Then Mion quietly said,
来て。私の罪のすべてを見てほしいから。でもそれはケイちゃんにとってこの上なく辛い光景かもしれない。
I could sense it. There I would probably find all the sacrifices up until now. Looking at them would mean accepting Rika-chan and Sadako's deaths, as well as accepting that my best friend had done it.
すでに起こり終わってしまった事実だけれども、ケイちゃんは見ないことを選んでもいい。そうならばここで待っていて。私の手で全て終わらせるから。
I was taken aback by how ominous that sounded. I remembered what Wena had told me. Mion might not surrender herself to justice, but choose to put an end to things herself. I couldn't leave her on her own. Besides, I agreed to her last request, and even if it was hard for me to accept, I'd still do it. Even if I avoided looking, it was something that had already happened.
何を見たって？俺にとっての園崎美音は最高の親友だ。それは変わらない。一生。
The treetops softly swayed in the wind.
あんたもレナもどうしてこんな時ばかりかっこよくなるんだろうね。
Normally I'd say something weird right back at her, evading question, but today I didn't. I just answered with a smile. At last, Mion started walking into the thick forest, into the deepest part. After following a thin path that looked like an animal trail for a while, we finally came across a steep incline with a tunnel that reminded me of a coal mine or bomb center. We were surrounded by shallow hills and had been created in a spot not visible from the outside. There were so many silhouettes of crows in the trees here and there. The abnormal odor I'd been smelling for a while was doubtlessly escaping from inside this place.
引き返すなら今だよ。ケイちゃんの中の園崎美音がどんな人かは知らないけれど、中に入ればその美音はきっと。
変わらない。 何度だって言う。園崎ミオンは俺の最高の親友だ。
I clenched my fist. Inside there was probably a sight beyond anything I could imagine. If I let my guard down, I might end up vomiting. Even so, I'll endure it. I'll overcome this pain and this suffering. It will never change that Mion is my greatest friend.
私はただの鬼だから、もう人間の気持ちはわからないけれど、ミオンがあんたを好きになったの、よくわかる気がする。
他人事のように言うな。お前はミオンだ。鬼じゃない。血の通った人間で俺の仲間なんだ。
Mion made a gesture like she was wiping tears from her eyes, then placed a hand on the big door of the tunnel entrance. The lock on it was daintily strong looking. It seemed to demand the appropriate resolution from whoever would enter, just like the ritual storehouse. When the double doors opened, a stifling rotten air and a bunch of winged insects came rushing out. I remember accidentally killing a hermit crab a long time ago by leaving its tank out on the porch, and how immense the odor it left was. If that was the smell of a corpse, then that's certainly what this smelled like. Inside, it was pitch black, but Mion flicked a switch to turn on the light bulb, illuminating the interior. The path turned into a series of intricate wooden tunnels. We passed spaces that looked like they were for storage. We passed places that looked like someone had lived there. All this indicated that it had been used as a bomb shelter and stockpile during the war. It didn't give an impression of a dugout bomb shelter that had just been left here, though. There was a sense of dignity, as though this was the second Sonozaki house constructed underground. Despite being pitch darkness below the ground, the voices of the cicadas were entering through an air hole somewhere, giving it a very mysterious feel.
最後殿の中、見たよね。あの拷問道具の山を。あれはすべて鬼ヶ淵村の厳しい戒律を守るために作られたものだった。戒律を破った者を見せしめにむごたらしく殺してみせる。
大昔の話だろ。
本来は見せしめの儀式。綿流しは御三家が取り仕切る儀式だったんだけど、君吉家と古出家の衰退、そして時代の変化によって行うことはとても難しくなった。
そりゃそうだな。この現代日本で犠牲者をのんびりと沢で殺せるなんて思えない。
だから園崎家は作ったの。現代でも綿流しの儀が行えるように、秘密の場所を。
Jesus. Mion opened a large, strikingly different door, and inside was none other than a modern storehouse for ritual implements.
いろいろあるでしょ。一部のものは実際に西宮殿から運び込まれたものなんだよ。
All of the things there had been rusty and covered in dust, so they didn't seem that real. But the things in here were different. Every one of them had been well maintained and kept in a state that they could be used right away. Blades gleamed and spikes were sharpened. Also, perhaps as a precaution for the splatter of blood, the walls and ceilings were covered in the kind of tiling you would see in bathrooms, and there was even a drain sediment a slight swoop in the floor. There was also a coiled rubber hose along the wall attached to a faucet, perhaps for cleaning up the splattered blood.
大昔の当主の書き物によるとね、血のしぶきってのは犠牲者に負担をかけない割にはインパクトがあるんだってさ。綿流しは見せしめの章だったから、私のご先祖様たちはさまざまな章を考案してたんだよ。
As she said that, Mion pointed deeper into the torture room, to a spot veiled in darkness. There was surprisingly a room forward with Tommy plants. In the corner was a pile of cushions.
鑑賞席なんだよ。
Jesus.
綿流しは見せしめの章だから。客がいなきゃ意味がない。
I couldn't speak, and I couldn't think of anything to say anyway. Except that if Mion revealing all of this to me made her heart feel any lighter, then I was prepared to listen for as long as I needed to.
みんなここで私が殺した。見てくれている観客はいなかったけど、私は綿流しを上手にやってみせた。いや、観客は一人だけいたかな。
え、観客？
私という鬼がミオンの執り行う綿流しをずっと見てたから。
Mion cackled in self-deprecation. It wasn't a nice sounding laugh.
向こうが牢屋。
I guess in order to deal with all this, she became the demon in order to keep her sane, I guess.
シオンはそこにいるのか？
She nodded slightly. Mion's one Higurashi had ended today. I needed to tell Shion that it was safe without a moment's delay. After all, she was probably trembling in fear at this very moment, worrying about when she would be killed. The Australia's door on the other side opened, revealing what must have been an incredibly expansive space based on the echo it made. Mion groped around in the darkness, and a handful of naked light bulbs came on here and there. As my eyes adjusted, more and more of the great cave showed itself in the faint light. The walls were bare rock surface and felt so savage that bomb shelter was the most apt term for it. There were small, barred rooms built here and there like holes made by insects biting their way through a giant piece of fruit. It was immediately clear that each one of them was a prison.
みんなはどこにいるんだ？リカちゃんやサトコは。
Jesus.
死体？
I grimaced at her, having said it so outright.
そうだ。いつまでも暗い中じゃかわいそうだろ。
虫が湧くと嫌だったから井戸に捨てちゃったよ。ごめん。
Jesus. So I can't even see their faces in death. Once again, my feelings of regret at having confessed everything to Rika-chan came surging forth. If Mion had attached the word sorry to the end of what she said, I might have punched her. Calm down, Kachimara. You said it yourself. No matter what, Mion Tanizaki is your greatest friend.
言ったさ。
I needed to hear myself say it out loud. Then came the clattering of bars in one of the cells deeper in. When I noticed it, I looked up as well.
シオンか？
ケイちゃんなの。
I went over to the cell. White hands were peeking out through the gaps in the bars. It really was her.
大丈夫か？シオン。怪我はしていないのか？
Shion's face twisted out of shape as she screamed. It was because Mion had appeared right behind me. Of course, Shion didn't know that everything was over yet.
落ち着け、シオン。もう全部終わったんだ。全部。
I spoke in as calm a voice I could manage to try and soothe the agitated Shion. However, it didn't seem like it was getting through her screams.
シオン、ご機嫌はいかがだった？もういやもう誰の死を見るのも嫌。私が憎いなら早く私を殺してよ。
Jesus.
憎いのは私なんでしょ。早く殺して
落ち着けってシオン。もう終わったんだよ。大丈夫なんだ。だから落ち着け。
Shion, who was screaming and rattling the iron bars back and forth, was truly in a frantic state. I gave a slight shrug of resignation, giving way to Mion. I had realized that if Mion was the one who locked her in there, and if Mion was the one who had scared Shion this much, then Mion was also the only one who could put an end to this. Mion spoke from over my shoulder, quietly.
安心しなよ。あんたは殺さない。まだまだ殺さないんだから。
She burst out into a bizarre laugh as if trying to make Shion's madness even worse. Shion broke out into a fierce shiver brought on by that laugh and rattled the iron bars as she wailed.
ケイちゃんを殺さないで。ケイちゃんは何の関係もないでしょ。殺すなら早く私を殺してよ。もう誰が死ぬの。そんなに死にたければこの男を殺した後にゆっくりとひき肉にしてやるよ。古式にのっとり獅子の先端から少しずつガリゴリと削ってミンチにしてやる。あの肉引き器はあんたのために取っておいてあるんだからね。それともそれでケイちゃんをミンチにしてみせた方があんたには面白いかな。
おい、いい加減にしろ。
Punch her, Kechi. Fucking punch her.
今さら怖がらせてどうするんだよ。
I tried to rebuke Mion for flinging terrible words at her this late in the game, but when I turned around... Oh, son of a bitch! Mion's mouth, so much so that was hard to believe, had twisted into a shape even thinner than a crescent moon, and it was a smile. I could sense it like a jolt of electricity. The person here wasn't my best friend Mion. It wasn't the Mion Sonozaki who had been tossed about by her heavy duty of succeeding the Sonozaki family either. Then, who was she? BAM! I saw sparks flying before my eyes like what happens when you get hit in the back of the head. The strength of my body drained instantly, my head suddenly became heavy. My knees buckled under the temptation to hit the floor, then my whole body abruptly collapsed. My face should have hit the floor, but it was comfortable as if I had fallen onto a drown-filled futon. My consciousness reeled and receded. It was the kind of sensation like if you took a nap in the car, but you were still half awake and could listen to your parents talking as if they were far away. No, you wouldn't be listening, you would only be hearing it. It was happening so far away, and the conversation was completely unrelated to you, so you would have no interest in it. So whenever Shion was yelling in my ears, or Mion was in vulgar hysterics, I didn't think it was annoying, nor did it interest me.
さて、どんな方法で料理してやろうかね。そうだ、釘台なんかどうかな。あのちびがけ二人組に試したかったんだけど、手が小さくて高速台にサイズが合わなかったからね。あれにしよう、あれにしよう。
Jesus Christ. Mion held me up from behind and dragged me across the floor. The soles of my feet scraped on it and one of my shoes fell off.
もうやめてよね。もうやめて。
Shion's emotions exploded outward and she burst into bitter weeping. As if her crying had whetted Mion's interest, she flung me down and returned to the prison cell
あん
again.
たも可愛い声で泣けるじゃない。あんたのわざとらしい空威張りには虫唾が走ってたんだけど、やっ
Jesus Christ.
お願いです。私をどういう風に殺しても構いませんから。どうかケイちゃんだけは見逃してあげてください。お願いです。
Shion had always acted as though she were cut above her older sister. That Shion, in such a miserable voice that I could have imagined it during those peaceful times, prostrated herself before the older sister she used to scoff at and pledge forgiveness. Mion looked down with an expression of cool indifference, one that was plainly smiling with joy.
あんたの希望なんか聞くつもりは全然なかったんだけど、あんたがあまりにも面白い声で泣くものだから、なんだか聞いててやってもいいような気がしてきたかな。 思えばあんたには姉らしいこと何にもしてやれなかったからね。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。じゃあさ、これまでのことを謝ってみせてよ。そうしたら私もこれまでのことをすっかり水に流してあげてもいいかな。そうしたらケイちゃんだけは見逃してあげなくもないよ。
Mion said she might let me go, but she never said anything about letting Shion go. Before long, Shion got her hands and knees behind the bars and began to speak weak words of apology. They were too faint for me to hear, but their intention got across. Despite having watched her with magnificently bouquet and expression, Mion kicked the bars and declared she was unsatisfied.
そんなので私の積年の恨みつらみが償えると思ってるわけ？こんなんじゃダメだね。やっぱりケイちゃんからひき肉だ。いやー！待って姉様！もう一度だけ。
Mion stopped and waved her hand again in resignation. Not because she had grown impatient, but only because she was taking delight in abusing Shion.
ろくろく満足に謝れないあんただからね。特別にお姉が心に届く謝罪の仕方ってのを教えてあげるよ。一度しか教えないし、一言一句でも間違えたらアウト。いいね。はい。ありがとうございます。
Fucking Christ, man. Shion's miserable voice cried out, having become utterly hoarse. The sensation tearing through my chest returned a little at a time. I realized it was feelings of anger bubbling up. I was slowly gaining control of my body. However, I was only able to feel my skin and my blood flowing at the moment. I still couldn't volubly move my
ちゃ
fingers.
んと覚えられたかな。ではやってごらん。誠心誠意、鉄頭鉄尾、心を込めてね。ちゃんとできたならあんただけを殺してあげるから。はい。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Something was strange. Something that becomes strange at some point. Until just a few moments ago, I was sure this had been Mion, but at some point she had become someone else. The Mion I knew well would never do something so nasty like Joy trampling all over someone's dignity like this.
やってごらん。お姉ちゃんはちゃんと聞いててあげるから。その崎シオンは。
When I went over to Shion's cell earlier, had the real thing been swapped out with a fake right behind me? Anyway, this couldn't possibly be Mion!
その崎シオンはミオン姉様の足元にも及ばない身の程をわきまえずお姉様に働い数々の無礼を思えばほらほらその調子少しは許してあげようかなって気になってきたよ。
Blood circulated through my whole body. My numb senses were returning. Just a little more. While Shion is still holding Mion's... No, that thing pretending to be Mion's attention. Hurry up!
生意気だったこれまでを反省し一緒ミオン姉様に忠誠を誓いますですから
Shit! Mion burst of laughter echoed throughout the big cave, growing to a terrifying level. That was not the laugh of someone who is alive in this world. It was none other than the laugh of a demon from the bowels of the earth. She laughed from her stomach until she grew tired of it and stopped smiling suddenly as if snapping a wire.
いいよもう十分面白かったわ。あんたがそこまでプライドを捨てられるとは思わなかったから。ふん、 十分に愉快。
Mion began to drag me again after I finally got the feeling in my body back and pulled me towards the torture chamber.
姉様、殺すな。私だけ、その人、許してあげ。安心しなって。ちゃんとあんたは殺してあげるよ。ケイちゃんの悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせた後にね。
After dragging me to the torture chamber, she skillfully strapped me into the restraining table. Before I knew it, I was sprawled out and bound. She forcibly opened my hands, with which I couldn't even make a satisfying fist, and tightly restrained each one of my fingers. She fastened only my hands and my fingers at that, tightly with hinges, and locked them into place. The door to the big cave with the jails had been left open, so I could hear Shion's cries of mortification the entire time.
これから始めるよ。ケイちゃんの若い悲鳴をたっぷりと楽しみな。
いい加減にしろ。
Oh shit! The feeling in my body returned, and the first action I took was to tell off that thing that looked like Mion.
ようやくお目覚め。私、さっき嘘をついたね。シオンを一番むごたらしく殺してやろうと思って閉じ込めておいたけど、まだ思いつかないって言ったやつ。あれが嘘。
Mion brought over something like a toolbox. From inside it, she removed a large metal hammer, and next to that, she began to line up what looked like long, strangely sharp nails whose ends had been turned into hooks like the kind you see on a harpoon.
あの子に自分のせいで死ぬ大勢の人の悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせて、体の芯まで染み通らせてから殺すの。なかなかセンスいいでしょ。
お前は誰だ？
は？ミオンでしょ？園崎ミオン。恐怖で頭が変になっちゃった？
違うな。お前が園崎ミオンであるはずがない。
Mion snorted and continued her preparations for the horrifying torture.
へえ。じゃあ、私がミオンじゃなかったら、私は誰なわけ？
鬼だ。
え？
お前はミオンじゃない。さっきまで一緒だったミオンを返せ。
ケイちゃん、本当に頭は大丈夫？恐怖で頭がどうかなっちゃった？
触るな！この鬼め！返せ！ミオンを返せよ！俺の最高の友人だったミオンを返せ！
Mion stood there for a few moments with her jaw hanging open, not having expected me to say that. I myself knew that I was about to go insane. I knew it was nonsense to demand Mion's return when she was right in front of me. But, this person in front of me couldn't possibly have been Mion. There was no way I could accept that. So this is what I thought. Mion really had been possessed by a demon and was controlling Mion as if it were a separate personality. Mion was just a victim being manipulated by it. The evil one was really this thing. It all had to be the doing of this demon possessing her. When Mion heard that, she started to guffaw, laughing so hysterically that she started to cough and almost choked.
あんたって本当におめでたい人だね。園崎ミオンに殺されようとしているこの瞬間に目の前の私を否定するわけ？こんな面白い人が世の中にいるなんて初めて知ったわ。
笑いたければ好きなだけ笑え。だがお前が何を言おうと俺はお前がミオンだなんて認めない。ミオンを返せ。退け鬼め！
ケイちゃん、私を笑いな
No matter what, I would lose that laughter of hers. I shouted loudly. I shouted from the bottom of my heart so that the real Mion, trapped inside the Mion I saw in front of me, would be able to hear.
頑張れミオン。こんな鬼畜生に負けるな。本当に強いお前の力を見せてくれ。
The tears rolled up and flooded down her face. Her hands were busy with the restraint, so she couldn't even wipe them. She just wet them forward.
頼むよミオン。ミオン。どこでお前はこんな鬼に負けちまったんだ。お前はこんな弱いやつじゃないだろ。負けるな。戦え。戦え。
Mion, desperately enduring her laughter, pressed one of the long nails to the tip of my left pinky. In her left hand was the hammer. At her side were a dozen more nails. I could tell what she was about to do, though I wish I couldn't. Even so, I couldn't afford to be scared. That was why I shouted.
お腹の筋肉がよじれて痛いよ。もういい？そろそろ始めるよ。いい声を出してね。これはケイちゃんへの拷問である以上にシオンへの拷問なんだからさ。
どうしてこんなことに。ミオン。
Then I wept. Only sobs came out. They weren't an acceptance of the torture about to perform, however. They were tears of regret that Mion had lost to the demon. Yet a small change did occur in the Mion in front of me. Her heightened excitement was strained little by little. By the time I realized it, the one in front of me had returned to being Mion.
ケイちゃん、メイドの土産なんて気の利いたものじゃないけれど、どうしても知りたがっているようだから一つだけ教えてあげるよ。
I didn't know if this was Mion or just a display of momentary humanity the demon had recovered.
私の中に鬼が宿ったのはずいぶん前。その鬼は私を蝕み強行に駆り立てようとした。だけれど私はそれを理性で抑えつけた。鬼はそれで収まり、私はその鬼はどこかへ行ってしまったんだと思い込んでいた。でも本当は違った。私の中から出て行ったんじゃなく、私の中で眠っていただけだったの。
I noticed that there were tears forming in her eyes.
その鬼はある小さなことをきっかけにまた目覚めてしまった。それは何に原因があったと思う？
There was a sad and yet reproachful light in Mion's eyes.
わかる？
I don't know what gave the demon the chance to beat Mion.
鬼の私が教えるのも変だけれど、あんたが全てを狂わせてしまった元凶。
The tears welling up in her eyes spilled downward all of a sudden.
あの時あんたがもらった人形を躊躇なく私に渡していたなら、全ては狂い出さなかったかもしれない。
Oh, fuck. The doll I got. That doll that I got when we had our club meeting at the toy store that Sunday.
ケイちゃんには理解できないだろうね。理解できなくて当然。だけどね、そこからドミノ倒しみたいにパタパタパタといろんなものが倒れ始めて、はじめの小さな一つを倒したあなたに自覚がないのは当然だろうけど、あなたが元凶なの。
そんな俺が。
あんたがミオンを泣かさなかったら私は起きなくて済んだのにね。
Oh my god.
これで十分。
Jesus.
メイドの土産は。
A mistake that I made on that day was what messed everything up.
そんな嘘だろ。
自覚がないのは当然。でも紛れもなく元凶なのはケイちゃん。
Oh my god.
あの時あんたがさりげなく人形を私にあげていたら多分こんなことにはならなかったと思う。
I wanted to say like I just remembered something as I recalled that day. Una had told me about that and I thought I had apologized. I didn't apologize to Mion though. It had been Shion. In other words, oh my god. I hadn't said a single word of apology to Mion. Today I came to this house saying I had something to apologize for, but I never said a word of apology about this. Come to think of it, when I apologized for going into the ritual storehouse, Mion looked a little bit lonely, like she was disappointed. Why didn't I realize that until just now? Lena told me at the time, and now she herself... No, the demon was telling me. It's the only way for a dense idiot like me to be cured, to die altogether. I could no longer hold back the hot tears from pouring out of me. I simply just cried and reflected indifferently on the taste of my tears, on the taste of regret.
じゃあそろそろいい？この拷問はね、とってもシンプル。左手の小指の先端の節に釘を打つ。順に親指まで打ったらまた小指に戻って、今度は真ん中の節に釘を打つ。この調子で15本の釘で左手を打ちつける。それが終わったら次は右手。それが終わったら次は、まだ意識があったら教えるね。指先ってたくさんの神経が集まってるから、ケイちゃんが想像するよりもはるかに痛いよ。両手30本を打ち終える前に失神しちゃう人もいるそうだから。
Mion pressed the tip of a nail to my left pinky finger. My wrist, my arms, and all the joints of my fingers were strapped in so tightly it hurt, and I couldn't even twitch.
他の人を拷問するときには何のためらいもなかったけど、なぜかあんたにはためらいがあるよ。
それでミオンの鬼が収まるなら。
If it will state the demon, then do to me what you will.
あんた本気で言ってるの？
俺が傷つけたミオンの痛みに比べればこんなの大したことないんだろ。気の済むようにするといい。その代わり2つ約束しろ。
Mion was silent. She did, however, wait for me to speak.
俺を気が済むまで痛めつけたらシオンは許してやれ。西宮殿に忍び込んだ罪にはそれで十分見合う仕打ちをしたはずだ。
あんたこの後に及んで自分よりシオンの心配ができるわけ？
もう一つは、気が済んだらもうお前は消えろ。その体をミオンに返してやってくれ。それだけだ。
あんたって人には命乞いをするとかそういう考えは思い浮かばないの？
約束2つじゃなくて3つ目は、俺を殺すなにしてくれ。
最初に2つって言ったでしょ。だからもうダメ。
そいつは残念。
Such an abnormal situation. Mia and I laughed quietly together, as if sharing in a stupid joke.
多分私は約束を守らないよ。鬼だから。
その時は仕方がないさ。
I recall tightening my hands into fists when during the pain at the dentist's office. Right now, though, they were opened all the way to my fingertips, so I couldn't even grip them. So instead, I tightened my toes. Okay. Do it. I've prepared myself already. So do it. You waiting like this to hammer the nails in is scarier. It's going to diminish my readiness after all. Mion put down the hammer and gently stroked my cheek.
ケイちゃん、今の3つ目の願いだけは聞いてもいいよ。
My third wish, to save me. She'll agree to it.
1つ目の願い、シオンを救うこと。これはもう無理。シオンは鬼が殺してしまう。それはもう決められたことだから止められない。だから諦めて。
Her delicate fingers slid from my cheek to my chin.
そして2つ目の願い、この体をミオンに返すこと。これももう無理。今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。今日以降、もし私の姿があったとしても、それは姿だけ。私の姿をした鬼だから。
そんなことはない。ミオンはミオンだ。もう戻ってこないなんて悲しいことを言うな。
聞こえる？あの音。
Mion gently closed her eyes and listened. I definitely heard it as well. Sit-am, swam. It was a dull noise that repeated at fixed intervals. A low noise accompanied by vibrations. A lot of people were ramming the iron doors to this underground ritual storehouse.
帰りが遅いからレナが大石を呼んだんでしょ。あのぼやーっとした感じの子がこんなに頭が回るのだけは計算外だったな。
それについては同感だよ。
Mion grinned like she'd been outwitted, then took something that looked like an electric razor out of her pocket. When she pressed on the switch, pale blue sparks flew out with a snapping noise.
見たことないでしょ。
Taser.
本物のスタンガンだよ。
Oh shit.
違法品なんでかなり出力が上げられるようになってるけどね。
さっき俺に食らわせたのはそれか。子供のおもちゃには向かねえぞ。
そうだね。
She seemed to want to use a stun gun on me. Unable to move, I felt her press the cool lump of metal to my neck. Slam! I heard a roar as though they'd broken down the first large door. The halls were a bit complex, but aside from the door to this very torture chamber, there was nothing in their way.
殺さないけど、しばらくケイちゃんにはお休みしててもらうね。すぐに大石が来てくれるから。ちょっとの我慢。
Feeling the same shock as before, gritting my teeth was going to help much, but I crunched them tightly anyway. However, just as she did when she was about to hammer the nails in, she hesitated a little. I cracked open my tightly closed-eyed wounds.
ごめんね。ミオンを怪我して。
ここに入る前に約束した。何があっても俺の中のミオンは変わらない。
でも忘れて。今日以降、もしも私を見かけてもそれは私の屍に取り付いた鬼なんだから。
What are you talking about? Just as I tried to say that a much stronger light than before shined, and like a television being switched off, my consciousness went black. June 1983. A string of disappearances occurred in Mizawa Village, Shushiborn City, Prefecture. The suspect is Mion Sonozaki, years old. She is suspected to have kidnapped 5 Himizawa residents between June 9th and June 21, June 1st, Oryu Sonozaki, Shion Sonozaki, Kirojo Kimiroshi, Rika Furud, and Sadako Harijo, imprisoned them and killed them. Preliminary investigations on the incident were delayed at the time due to insignificant evidence, but it was resolved conclusively and shockingly. On the morning of the 23rd, a vehicle patrolling the Sonozaki property heard screams from inside and rushed in as an emergency measure. They secured the suspect's missing younger sister, Shion Sonozaki, and their 2 missing classmates, Kechi Marabo and Wenawigu. The suspect fled the scene. Deep in the detached basement of the Sonozaki property, which is believed to have been used to kill those who disappeared, we discovered hair, flakes of skin, blood, etc. of the 4 other missing persons, Oryu Sonozaki, Kirojo Kimiroshi, Wika Furud, and Sadako Hariyo. We concluded that the missing persons were tortured in the torture chamber. However, their remains have still not been found. At one of her imprisoned classmates' advice, we continued searching the detached basement of the Sonozaki property, which was where they were imprisoned, believing that they were there. However, we still have not located them or the suspect's escape route. In addition, investigations are continuing as to her participation in the serial freak death incidents of recent years, thinking it would give some clue. But no evidence that Mion Sonozaki was involved, either directly or indirectly, has been found. There are still many unclear points as to the motive behind the incident, and as those of the Sonozaki family and the residents of Himizawa have been extremely cooperative in assisting us, we expect to require a long time to clarify them. The opinion of a local officer knowledgeable about the region is that this may have been a lynching, the internal form of punishing sacrilegious acts carried out against the beliefs of Himizawa village. It is clear that these incidents are partially rooted in this region, and the Prefecture Police Department has ordered a cautious investigation. We anticipated gaining valuable clues from the missing person believed to have been in prison for the longest time, Shion Sonozaki, the suspect's younger sister. But her mind was stricken by the grave after effects of the incident, and she has not been in a state of mind to properly answer any questions about what she knows. Jesus Christ. The psychologist concluded that she is in a temporary state of shock, but it doesn't seem hopeful that she will recover today either. Only a few days passed since that time. After that, I was rescued by Oishii-san and subordinates whom Lena had called in. Aside from my entirely blank state of mind, I had no external injuries. The most I had was a small burn mark from where the stun gun hit me. As I was waiting a checkup in the hospital, Oishii-san asked me all sorts of things, but I don't really remember what he asked or how I answered him. From what I heard, surprisingly, Mion still hadn't been captured. There were apparently a great many hallways and small rooms extending out from the depths of the prison. It wouldn't be strange if she had fled to one of those and hidden herself. The one fortunate aspect amidst all the misfortune was that Shion had been safely secured by the police. When I last saw Mion, she seemed like she was going to take me with her and then kill me. She probably didn't have enough time to, though, since Oishii-san came running in faster than she predicted. That was the only really fortunate thing to have happened. Of course, the rescued Shion, despite having no external wounds, now had a big, deep wound in her heart. She was in a severe state of confusion when they rescued her, and apparently she bit the police officers trying to resist. From what he heard, she was seeing Mion and everyone she saw, hated not only the hospital but even her own home, and had shut herself up somewhere in Shishiborn, hiding her location. Additionally, in fear that Mion would come for her, she was moving from place to place every day, and even her parents weren't sure where she actually was. Wherever she was living, even now, Shion was spending her days in fear of Mion's shadow. The police were investigating the Sonozaki's underground storehouse at this moment, since they couldn't find the remains of the other sacrifices. How did Mion thrown the corpses into a well? I had a feeling I'd said that to him. That meant a hidden tunnel, vague, vertical like a well, was somewhere in those underground passages. The secret underground without any maps or architectural drawings, which had swallowed up the remains of Rika-chan, Sadako, and everyone else, was still unwilling to speak the truth. I was brought back to that basement again, too, for the on-site inspection of something, but I didn't remember being of any help. I never wanted to go back there again. For days afterwards, the Sonozakis living in Okayama, in other words, Mion and Shion's parents, the big-name Yakuza, would come to our house to apologize, bringing many of their followers with them. However much my parents refused it, they piled up many 100,000 yen bills, calling it consideration money every day. The amount of money grew each day, and after it had passed 2 million yen, they were then given an envelope containing a letter. I don't know what was written in the letter. My parents talked about it by themselves for 2 whole nights and decided to move away.
So 引っ越しちゃうんだね。いつ？
来月の終わり。ひなみ沢には結局半年も居つかなかったことになるな。
The only 2 people that remain are Rana and Kachi. Oh my god.
寂しくなるね。私一人しか残らない。
Rana smiled sadly. If I had just said yeah, I thought it would make her even more lonely, so I changed the subject.
こう考えることがあるんだ。
That's how I broached it. Mion had actually fled, but had been demoned away in the truest sense of the term. Where she went after she disappeared, that we didn't know. What was there, where she had disappeared to? I hoped there was a hobby shop dealing in imports, the kind Mion liked. In that place, she would definitely be free from the burdensome feathers of her family. It would have not as Mion Sonozaki, but as just Mion and enjoy herself. Maybe she's already met up with Sadako and Rika-chan. They must have also have been waiting for the day when and I would join them, spending all their time doing club activities, as lively as they always were. When I told Lena that, she smiled and nodded to me. The incidents the Sonozaki family had been trying so hard to hide too were exposed to the magazines from this single tiny seam. The serial incidents of recent years were all pulled up like a long vine in the ground one by one, and for many days news of it were brought up on talk and variety shows. The shows, which were comedic and silly, never once tried to touch the topic upon the grim, heavy history that Mion had been bearing. It made me mad to see them bringing this stuff up in jest, but there was nothing I could do about it now. How big an impression would these short few weeks I spent in Mizawa have on my wife? During those few weeks, I met my best friends and had the best experiences of my life. I would probably never forget it as long as I lived. As for the distorted image of Mion that the media created, after the masses got tired of treating her like a plaything, they would ball her up, throw her in the trash, and then she would fade from their memories. As one of the few people who knew the real Mion, I must always make sure I remember her. Beyond any doubt, that will surely become my offering to her. The sky reached so far up and towering cumulus clouds floated through it. The real summer was just before our eyes. Even now, whenever 10 p.m. came around, I would expect a phone call from Shion or Mion either. Now that everything was over, of course, she would never call me. But it was precisely because she wouldn't call me that I was scared of who would call me this time. Plus, Mion still hadn't been caught. I couldn't say for sure, but that everything was completely over. On the other side of the fear, though, were my prayers that Mion was safe. When I thought like that, I was able to sleep even with such terrifying thoughts. The lights were off. Before her attacking when the lights were off was something that scared me. However, that feeling changed to regret within 2 days. The moonlight filtered through the gap in the curtain, showing onto the desk, illuminated a doll. That's right. The doll that I should have given to Mion that day. She said it was an import from England or something, and was all the rage, didn't she? From what Shion said, the most popular among them were the ones wearing the fluffy dress. After being released from the incident, the first place I went to was a toy store. Everything was apparently sold out besides the things on the storefront displays. I was fused once when they said they wouldn't sell the display products, but when they realized I was Survivor A from that incident, they immediately consented. Of course, even if I bought it, I might never have the chance to give it to her again. Even knowing that, I waited for the opportunity to give it to her. I waited like this for the opportunity, with it on the desk so I could give it to her at any time. Fuck. There was a weird noise. It was a noise I wasn't used to hearing. It was too big to be raindrops and was completely different from the sound lost bugs made when they went into fluorescent lights. I figured I must have misheard and nestled back into my futon. Flonk. The noise happened again. I wasn't hearing things. I definitely heard it. Where was it coming from? I got up and turned on the light. If there was a second, there would be a third. From where, though? I listened carefully. Flonk. The window. Some sort of pebbles were colliding with my window. When I realized they weren't being blown there by the wind, but rather being thrown by a person, I gave a start. I looked at the clock. It was 2 a.m. It would be at a time like this. I clearly picked out front through the gap in the curtains. In the light at the gate, despite it being so late, I saw someone. They picked up a piece of gravel and threw it at this window. It hit the window and made a flocking noise. Who was it?
Oh.
I caught my breath in surprise. If my eyes weren't deceiving me, that person was Mion. I threw open the window and looked at the figure again. My eyes certainly weren't deceiving me. It was Mion. It was Mion. She was alive. Mion pressed her index finger to her lips and made a shh motion so I wouldn't shout. If she hadn't, was nearly about to cry out. Mion was in a very delicate position right now. Even if it was the middle of the night, I shouldn't call out her name. I waved to her, gesturing that I'd be right over, flung on my coat atop my pajamas and flew out the door. I quickly hit the brakes just before going down the stairs. Although happiness was sprouting within me, I had the sad feeling that this would be our final parting. So I went back to my room again and grabbed the doll. If there was a god, I don't think I would have ever thanked him as much as today. Even if it would be the last time we ever saw each other, I was so grateful for this one chance to give it to her. I slipped into my sandals, unlocked the door, unhooked the chain, and leaped out of the house.
Mion!
お久しぶり。どう？元気にしてた？
It was like how we used to meet every morning. Mion waves to me and responded like she always did. It was doubtlessly Mion. It was the real Mion.
お前、こんなところをうろついてて大丈夫なのか？
本当はいけないよ。
She certainly wasn't acting like she knew the police were following her. It was almost like she was a patient who had gotten tired of staying in the hospital and snuck out. Her speech was relaxed enough to make me think that, and I couldn't help but be surprised. That relaxation, I thought, was more like Mion, and I was happy for it.
それよりどうしたんだよ、こんな時間に。
最後にお話ししたかったから。
That's when I noticed them. On Mion's forehead were big droplets of sweat. Her expression, too, which I had thought to be a satisfied smile, was upon closer expression trembling slightly, and I realized that she was forcing it.
私ねもうここにはいられない
A pained note was beginning to enter her words as well, as if just smiling was a feat for her.
大丈夫か？どこか具合でも。
今日まで頑張ってきたけど自分でもわかるのもうダメもう限界
Oh, fuck.
私のお迎えはもうすぐ後ろまで来てる
What? Mion's smile crumbled and started to stiffen. Did she push herself this much to come all this way from me? Her laughter cut off and changed into rough breathing. I reached out to rub her back, but she knocked me away.
大丈夫かよ。もう無理するな。そうだ。俺ミオンに。
To give you, Mion, this doll. I had wanted to do this one last thing because I knew how little time you had left. But this last thing, it... My stomach is burning. Mion took a meat cleaver-like knife and stabbed me, and pushed it in tight, and took it and twisted it. Mion, hey, what? It hurts.
間に合った間に合った
I cowered on the ground. My stomach was so hard it was almost spewing fire. Mion watched it, then took us 2 steps back and cackled.
できた全部できた私が殺したやつはこれで全員
The last words Mion left me with that day came back to me.
今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない
From today on, even my body is here, a body is all it will be. By then, the demon will have taken it over. The demon, the demon, the demon.
ミオン。
Fucking eyes. This can't. I thought we had finally be able to meet. This can't. Mion. In a pool of blood of my own design is the doll I bought from Mion, dried and red. So red. Mion. The good fortune of him being allowed to meet Mion once more. The misfortune of that meeting being torn apart before my eyes. Should I be grateful or cursed? My emotions were neither of those, as my consciousness sunk deep into a black swamp. The doll I bought for Mion, the blood had ruined it. No matter how I scrubbed and scrubbed, it had nearly been ruined. Ruined. The sad moon was so white it looked frozen. June 28th, 1983. A violent incident occurred in Mizawa Village, Shishiborn City Prefecture. The victim was Kechi Marabawa, also a victim of the previous string of disappearances. At around 2 a.m., he was stabbed in the stomach with a bladed object by the suspect of the last case, Mion Sonozaki, and was gravely wounded. He was discovered when his parents woke up and was transported to the cynic. He escaped death. The criminal fled the scene. On the same day, at approximately the same time, a fall incident occurred in the Higurashi apartment complex in Chishiborn City Prefecture. The victim was Shion Sonozaki, also a victim of the previous string of disappearances. Late on the same night, neighbors overheard her having a big fight with someone and informed the manager. The manager used a master key to enter the room and discover that the victim had fallen from her 8th-floor balcony to her death. The room had been torn apart and appeared to show traces of a fight. One neighbor has frequently visited the Sonozaki house for a long time and testified that he heard what sounded just like the two sisters having a fight, trading insults back and forth. We believe this was related to the injury case that occurred the same day in the Himisawa village, perpetrated by said incident suspect. And did a thorough search of the room, but we could not find any traces that would imply that anyone but the victim was present. The victim fell straight down into the foliage of a parking strip. Her neck broke and she died immediately. Her clothing was disheveled and had markings that imply a scuffle. We also believe, however, that it could have been insanity-induced suicide attempt based on the particular mental state of the victim after the incident. We are conducting a thorough examination of both for suicide and homicide. Oh my fucking god. Oh, what? I
本当に5分だけですからね。
Wait, we're still going? Excuse me? We're still... What? Alright, man, we just got stabbed. God. Right now I'm recording this on a many days later after the previous recording. I'll just tell you guys just with that. I've had a lot of time to think about. But yes. So it seems like that Mion, basically what happened in this chapter. You know what? I'll do it at the end. Let's finish this chapter. Let's do it.
刺激しないようにしてください。
I'll hold on to my thoughts, just in case anything else happens here.
心得ていますよ。
Oh, Oishii. Correct. The door opened, and as I expected, Oishii-san came in.
どうも前原さん。ご無沙汰しておりますね。その後、お加減はいかがですか？
Dying.
医者が言うには術後の回復は順調だそうですが、あんたの顔を見たらまた傷が悪くなりそうです。
こりゃ手厳しい。
As Oishii-san gave a laugh that smelled of sweat, he handed Mom a bag of assorted candies he must have purchased from the souvenir corner on the first floor of the hospital.
すみません、お母さん。ほんのしばらく圭一君とお話しする時間をいただいてもよろしいですか？
Mom clearly wasn't pleased at the thought of a police officer talking to her son without her there. However, I insisted.
母さん、悪いけどほんのちょっとだけ5分でいいから。
Though grudgingly, Mom left the room. When she closed the door, Oishii-san grinned widely and looked around the room.
個室なんていい身分ですね。うちのばあさまなんかいっつも相部屋ですよ。そりゃもう賑やかなことで、ああいうところじゃ病気の重さが一つのステータスになるらしいんですよ。より重病な患者ほど偉いというか、威張っているというか。
大石さん、5分ですよ。できればこれが本当に最後の5分にしてほしいものです。
Yeah, it's only chapter 2, Kechi. We're gonna meet each other much more.
俺はもうひなみ沢とは関係ないし、ここも もうひなみ沢じゃない。
沖宮には総合病院はありませんからね。椅子よろしいですかな。ゆっくらしゅっと。
This was a large university hospital in Shishiborn City. It was splendidly urban, entirely different from the likes of Himizawa and Okayama. It was hard to believe that Himizawa was part of the same city.
転院はいつ頃になりそうですか。
さあ、俺的にはいつでも OK なんですけどね。
Our moving plans were delayed a little because of my serious injury. My parents had already left the house in Himizawa, though, and were living in our new one. They planned to have me transfer hospitals to be closer to the new house once I'd recover enough to be taken there.
転院先にまで来ないでくださいよ。本当に具合が悪くなりますからね。
いや、すっかり嫌われちゃいました。仕事柄とはいえ心苦しいですよ。なので今日はこれまでの罪滅ぼしに素敵なお土産をいろいろお持ちしましたので。
別にクッキーの詰め合わせなんか持ってこなくても。
それがね、実は中身はクッキーじゃないんですよ。ほら。
Just pure poison. Oishii-san pulls open the can of cookies and what? Ow! Ow! I'm stretching my scar.
前原さんの好みがわからなかったので、いろいろと持ってきましたよ。
All types of drugs.
ほら、よりどりみどり、野原は黄緑ってなもんです。
Wait a minute.
さあさ、好きなだけ持っていっちゃってください。
God damn it, Oishii.
こんな本なんか持ってこないでください。
Man, don't you... Man, don't you hate it when your local police officer brings porn while you're getting treated by first getting stabbed? God, what is this game and just how good it is at just fucking with your emotions.
持って帰って持って帰って。いってててててて。
健全な若者がこんなところにずーっと閉じ込められてたらさぞやご入り用だと思ったんですけどね。こんなところにいると看護師フェチにしかなりませんよ。世の中には看護師さん以外にも素晴らしいものがいっぱいあるんですからね。
Well, ain't that worldview.
今から専門を決めないで幅広くオールラウンドに行かなくっちゃ。
They gave Oishii-san's vulgar laughter a pained grin. Somehow or other, I understood. The fact that Oishii-san was bringing it up like this meant that he must have had something important to talk about.
シオンさんの件は本当にお気の毒でした。
The night I was stabbed by Mion, Shion fell from her balcony and died. They said the police were investigating all possibilities, accident, suicide, and homicide, but could only have been Mion's doing. Mion found out where Shion was hiding and pushed her down to her death. Nothing else was conceivable.
事故のわけない。ミオンです。絶対に。
鑑識の連中は自殺だとしか思えないなんて言ってるんですが、私も前原さんと同じ意見です。シオンさんを突き落とし、さらにあなたを刺した。一晩のうちにね。
Jeez.
ミオンはまだ見つからないんですか？
そうそう。それを今日はお伝えしたくて来たんですよ。はい。実は見つかったんです。
Shit.
あ、ててててて。
Now, alive or dead. Learning that felt rather strange to me. I was partially relieved that the incident was truly over, and I was partially sorry that my best friend had finally been caught. I felt many other things too. My heart was a maze of emotions.
それだけじゃない。園崎家の例の地下、隠し井戸も見つかったんですよ。
Jeez. Well,
前原さんがおっしゃられてた通り、失踪者全員の遺体をその底で発見しました。
Only some people can have closure.
そうですか。
That sliver of hope, that possibility I believed in, that Wika-chan and Sadako were alive just from the fact their remains hadn't been found. Gone.
あの地下に実に巧妙に隠されてましてね。いやいや、まさに死角中の死角でした。井戸状に掘られた垂直トンネルでして、はしごが設けてあって、下へずーっと行ったところに、今度は横へ抜けるトンネルが作られていました。
Jeez.
そこを数百メートルも張って進むと、なんと山中の古井戸に抜けられましたね。
過去の園崎家の当主が作らせた秘密の逃げ道だったんでしょうね。
でしょうな。明治以降に作ったものでしょうが、いやいや、よくもあんなものを作ったもんです。
みんなの遺体はその底に。
はい。逃げ道の通路よりもさらに下にコールタール状の泥水が溜まってまして、
Coal tower?
そこに無造作に投げ込まれていました。相当の高さから落としたわけですから、遺体はどっぷりと埋まってしまってましてね。遺体の引き上げにはだいぶ苦労させられました。
全員見つかりましたか？
I hope that they at least wouldn't find Wika-chan or Sadako. That's what I wished for when I asked, but my shallow hope was crushed in the blink of an eye.
はい。全員。それどころか死後10年以上経過したと思われる人骨も見つかりました。
Decade old.
最低でも3人分はあると思われます。ひなみ沢の歴史の暗部というわけでしょうな。泥を全部吸い出したら一体何人分の骨が出てくるやら。怖い話です。
That weight had been pushing down on Mion's shoulders the whole time. Mion.
今、鹿骨市内の過去数十年の失踪者を洗い直しているところです。諦められてた失踪事件もこれを機に全部解決するんじゃないかなんて言われてますよ。
After a deep silence, he breathed a heavy sigh. Oishii-san went for cigarettes to pass the time, but realized this was a non-smoking area, so he gave up and put them back in his shirt pocket.
そうそう。これは寄り道なんですが、古出里香さんご存知ですよね。
もちろん仲間ですから。
彼女、例えば糖尿病でインスリンの注射を常用していたとか、そんな話はありました？
Wika-chan has diabetes? I didn't know what he was talking about.
実は彼女のスカートのポッケからですね、
The hell?
注射器が見つかりまして、
Syringe.
破損していたので薬物は特定できなかったのですが、
A syringe?
少々不似合いだったので興味を持ちまして。
A syringe?
本当にご存知ありません？
What the fuck does that mean? I didn't know anything about Wika-chan carrying syringes around with her.
園崎家は本業の方、薬剤屋さんのことです。で、覚醒剤を扱ってるとの噂がありましてね、その可能性もあるかなんて思ってたのですが。
リカちゃんが 覚醒剤の常用者だっていうのか？
Why the hell would Rika have a syringe? The only other syringe that has ever been mentioned in the game was the one that was gave like injected into us because of Mion and Rena. So does that mean in this timeline, instead of Rena and Mion, it was Rika and Sadako that were employed by the director? That's the only explanation I could give. Or maybe it was just Rika and Sadako's just innocent party. What the hell is this fucking syringe? Who is this fucking director? Even though it feels like we've learned more history about Himizawa, none of our answers have been answered. Questions, I meant, not answers. Questions have been answered by this chapter. It's just more questions, really, since for some reason in this timeline, Mion's not affiliated with the director. She's more worried about the Sonozaki family.
そうは申してませんよ。ただ、お醤油をもらいに行くついでに注射器を持っていくってのはどう考えても変ですからね。
Maybe I was right the first time. The dog she was referring to when we were talking to her wasn't Mion. It was the director, right? She said she could fix all of this. She could help Kechi away from all of this. Was the whole soy sauce thing that actually happened? The soy sauce thing actually happened. They actually ran out of soy sauce. But did Rika see this as an opportunity to drug Mion because she was acting out of order? Maybe? Like the director had never anticipated her killing the mayor, Sadako, and Rika, and Shion. He never anticipated that was never part of her thing. She went pretty much rogue because of, the whole doll thing that would pretty much set loose the demon inside of her, as she likes to call it. Interesting. I have no idea what any of this means. My eyes are spinning. I feel sick. This fucking director.
大丈夫ですか？看護師さんを呼びましょうか？
大丈夫ですから。話の続きを。
まあ、注射器の話はそれだけです。それだけが個人的に気になったもので。
Rika-chan.
リカさん、村のマスコットみたいなところがありましたからね。今、村は騒然としてるみたいですよ。盲信してた年寄り方と殺してしまった園崎家とで、実効支配していた御三家もほぼ全滅状態。こんなタイミングでまたダムの話が出てきたりしたら、今度こそ間違いなく敗損でしょうな。
もう俺、ひなみ沢とは関係ありませんから。
I actually was. I just said it because the thought about Himizawa being abandoned was unpleasant, and I wanted to end the conversation quickly. There was a knock at the door. It opened slightly, and my mom asked if we were still talking.
ありゃ、無駄話が過ぎましたか。参ったな。
I looked at the clock. 5 minutes were long past. He told my mother that there was something he really wanted to ask, and if she could wait a little longer.
そう？手短にね。
There wasn't any getting around the fact that she was thinking about what a police officer could be talking to her son about.
日を改めた方が良さそうですね。
大石さん、ミオンは今どうしてるんです？
I wanted to just hear that answer and then get rid of him. I'm going to predict this right now. I think she killed herself. I think she's dead.
それを話す前に前原さんに一個だけ本当に正直に答えてもらいたいことがあります。
何ですか？
本当に真面目に答えてくださいよ。これいい加減なこと言っちゃうと場合によっては捜査か乱と見られて告発される場合もありますからね。
Oishii-san kept threatening me until the end. What the hell did he want?
前原さん、シオンさんを突き落とした犯人は誰だと思います？
Criminal.
ミオンしか考えられないじゃないですか。
ではあなたを刺したの誰です？
That Oishii does bring up a good point. Okay. What was the time when Kechi got stabbed? It was either 2 or 3 a.m. He got stabbed by Mion. We don't know the exact time of when Shion got pushed off the balcony. It could have been before Kechi got stabbed, or it could have been after. We just need the time.
何度も言わせないでください。ミオンですよ。園崎ミオン。
Oishii-san smiled bitterly and then dabbed at his forehead with a handkerchief to wipe his sweat. He should have expected the answer, and yet it looked as though he wasn't satisfied with it.
シオンを突き落として俺を刺してミオンの犯行だってさっき大石さんも認めたじゃないですか。
シオン殺しの犯人がミオンだという根拠は隣人の男の証言によるものなんです。
Yeah.
この隣人ってのは実は暴力団組員、つまりシオンさんのボディーガードだったんですよ。
Shit.
このうちのリーダー格が古参で、園崎姉妹が幼いうちから親身になってた男なんだそうで。
Yeah, huh? That man said this. The noise he heard from next door was just like the sound of a fight between the sisters that he was used to hearing when they still lived together. And no, there was no doubt about it. He said he heard Mion and Shion insulting each other and heard them struggling. At first, though, he thought it was the hallucinations she was having brought on by her dementia. You see, he thought that because that sort of ruckus had been occurring every night. However, that night had been longer than the rest, and he claimed that he went to her room to give her a sedative. The noise died down while he got the manager to give him the key. He'd already decided he'd at least check up on her, and after she wasn't answering his calls, they took the plunge and unlocked the door. Then they saw that the room was a mess. Since Shion had been pushed over the balcony, they decided it had to have been Mion. And that's how it happened. Yeah.
つまり壁越しに聞いたというだけなんです。しかもこのマンション、組の関係で住人がほとんどいないんです。ですからこの騒ぎを聞いてたのも彼らだけ。重ねて言えば園崎ミオンを目撃した者は誰一人いないんです。
見なくったってそんなのミオンの犯行だってわかるじゃないですか。
You're telling me the Sonozaki family killed Shion to keep her quiet?
まあまあ。だからつまりですね、あなただけがあの晩確かに園崎ミオンを目撃した唯一の人間ってことになるんです。
Yeah.
もう一人の目撃者のシオンさんは生きておられませんからね。
大石さんが何を言いたいのかよくわからないんですけど。
At that point, Oishii-san paused. The fact that this was a no smoking area completely swept his mind, and he took out a pack of cigarettes again. Kertrick, he lit one with his lighter, and exhaled a long stream of tobacco smoke.
あなた本当に園崎ミオンに 刺されたんですか？
Wait.
はい、
What are you trying to imply, Oishii?
間違いなく。
What the hell are you trying to imply? The smoke Oishii-san breathed out floated away like a thunder cloud swept away by the wind.
大石さん、ここ禁煙です。看護師さんに怒られますよ。
実は園崎ミオンも井戸の底から見つかったんですよ。
What? Oh, what the fuck?
転落死です。
Huh?
あの井戸の隠し通路から逃げ出そうとしてはしごを降りる途中に足を踏み外し、そこまで転落し、首の骨を折って死亡したとみられます。
Yeah, you found Mion. When did she die?
はい。シオンさんと同じにね、
Same.
首の骨を折って。
What?
あの日前原さんを気絶させた後、園崎ミオンは隠し井戸から外へ逃れようとして足を踏み外して死んだのです。
No. What?
まるでそこに突き落とした他の犠牲者の死体に呼び寄せられるようにね。
Then who? It.
それじゃあおかしいじゃないですか。
Wait, if she died that day, she died that same day, which Kechi, got knocked out, was strung up. Then who the fuck did we see? That was Mion, right? The only other person. No, we never did see the reverse. It was always the one time that someone was impersonating another was Mion impersonating Shion. But we never saw the opposite. But no, Shion's dead. So who the fuck was that we saw stab us? That had to be Mion. Because there's no way. How? They mentioned the demon. The only two people that know about, Mion's internal fucking whole thing about demon is Shion's a bit iffy, but for sure Kechi and Mion herself. So how were they able, if that was an impersonator, if that was someone else, if that wasn't Mion, how the fuck did they know about the demon living inside of her? She never mentioned that to anybody else. Not a single person. Not even Wena. Nobody.
検視の結果、間違いなくあの日に死亡したものと確認されました。
She died that day? So, who the fuck was that?
あなたとシオンさんを襲ってからあそこに戻ったんじゃない。あの日にすでに死んでいたんです。
Wait. When did Shion die? What was the time of her death? When was it? We need to know this. This is so fucking important. When did Shion die? Because okay, I'm getting a fucking theory in my head now. Maybe the director, once again, whoever the fuck this goddamn director guy is, coerced Shion into stabbing Kechi disguised as Mion, and then after she got pushed off by one of the members of the director's group because she probably would have told somebody, and plus she really felt guilty about stabbing Kechi. That's the only thing that would make sense out of all this. My jaw was on the floor. There was absolutely no way that could be. Mion was the one that stabbed me. It had to have been her. There wouldn't have been anyone else to do it.
じゃあ誰が俺とシオンを襲ったんですか？誰が？
あなたを襲った園崎ミオンなのに園崎ミオンじゃない何者かですよ。
What the fuck? My mind had become a complete mess, and I was starting to lose my ability to think straight.
高野美代さんの死覚えてますか？
Takano.
高野さん？
She was burned.
はい。確か遠くの山の中で焼け死んだって聞いたような。
あれは考察された後に焼かれたことが分かってます。検視したのは県警さんなんですけどね。これがちょっとおかしいんですよ。
Strange.
初期の検視結果では死後24時間経過って出ちゃったんです。
24 hours.
辻褄が合わないってことで大慌てで当日死亡って改ざんしたらしいんですが。
She'd been dead for 24 hours. Despite me being an absolute wreck over what was going on with Mion, he was telling me there was even more on top of that? I didn't understand the complex things Oishii-san was telling
こ
me.
の死後24時間って検視結果、うちの鑑識のじじいが言うにはですね、かなり信頼できるものらしいんです。つまりどういうことか。
Her body was found the day after the Higurashi, right? If I remember correctly.
これは何度も聞いた質問になりますが、あなた綿流しの晩高野美代さんに会ってますよね。
合ってます。
その前日お祭りの準備の日にも会ってますよね。
Yes.
私もその時お会いしてますし。
ええ、合ってますよ。
死後24時間ってことはお祭りの前日の晩にはもう死んでるってことになるんですよ。
She was dead the day before the festival? Then who the fuck were we talking to? If that wasn't Takano.
そんなはず。
What the fuck is happening? What?
お祭りの準備の時には生きていた。でもあなたたちと一緒に西宮殿に忍び込んだ時、高野さんはもうお亡くなりになっていたのです。
What? How? What? What? If she was already dead, then who the fuck was that? What? This is throwing me for a fucking loop. What? The origin of all that happened. The beginning of everything. Our intrusion into the ritual storehouse, which I had come to regret countless times. The one who tempted me, Takano-san. When she invited us into the storehouse, she was already no longer of this world.
今回の事件、死人が歩き回りすぎなんですよ。
What? An incident caused by a dead person ended by a dead person.
園崎美音の死亡時間を事件当日ではなくあなたを刺した直後に改ざんせよとの圧力も来てるみたいです。
What is with this fucking Walking Dead? What the fuck is it? What?
この事件をとっとと終わらせようとする外圧でしょうね。
This is insane.
ですので今の話はどうか他言無用に願いますよ。
What? Oishii-san grabbed his jacket that was hanging on the chair, put out his cigarette with the bottom of his foot, and started pretending to wave away the smoke floating around.
長居しました。あなたにとっての事件をせめて終わらせてあげようと思って来たつもりだったんですがね。かえって煙に巻いちゃったようで。
What? Absent my own way, he walked towards the door, looking at me, unable to speak, out of the corner of his eyes.
もしも今後話したいことができたらいつでもお電話ください。さっきのお土産の中に私の名刺が入ってますんで。その時はまた素敵なお土産を持ってお見舞いに来ますよ。
What the fuck? Oishii-san seemed to think I was still hiding something. That I, after all this, would be hiding something? I'm the one things are being hidden from. I'm the one who wants to know.
では、またいつかお会いしましょう。お大事に。
Swam. I listened to the tap 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 of Oishii-san walking down the hallway. I still couldn't return from my state of bewilderment. He wanted to end this incident as it applied to me. What was over? Nothing was over. The incident was still continuing. What? What? Then... What? Then Swip, an arm covered in fresh blood, came out from underneath the bed. I wasn't that surprised. This was an illusion I was seeing, seized with fear.
ケイちゃん、だから言ったでしょ。
I heard a guttural voice coming from under the bed. I still recognized it as Mion's voice.
なんだ、ミオン。何を言ったって？
私、あの日に警告したよ。今日以降、私の姿を見たとしても、それは私の屍に取り付いた鬼なんだよって。
Demon.
そうだな。言ってたよな。ごめん。ちょっと注意が足らなかったな。だから刺されちゃったんだな。
Possible wounds sustained when she fell from the ladder. Many of her fingernails were broken and torn. Her arms slowly felt about on top of the bed, searching for mine.
あのさ、ミオン。俺今こんな冗談を考えたんだ。聞いてくれるか？
The Mion under the bed didn't answer.
例えばさ、俺が今日ここで死んじゃうんだよ。だけども明日以降もここにいて普通に生活してみせるんだよ。
What?
で、後でそれが大石のやつに分かってまたしても死亡日時が合わない。死んだはずの人間が生活していたって言って泡を食って大騒ぎするんだよ。高野さんにミオン、そして俺で3人目な。面白いだろ？笑えるだろ？
ケイちゃん、
笑えよ。それともあんまり面白くなかったか？
Mion's blood-stained hand groped around and found my wrist. Though her fingernails were torn, she gripped it hard, as if scratching me.
加減しろよ。痛いって。
ケイちゃん、迎えに来たよ。
I tried to shake the wrist loose, but the strength she held it with was unbelievable, and I couldn't. She was only gripping one wrist, and yet my whole body wouldn't move. I couldn't even twitch. My fingers were split apart, and I couldn't make a fist either. And that fact that I couldn't make a fist reminded me of the restraining table. I felt a crooked nail press against my left pinky fingertip. Mion's forehead was split open, and with a face covered with blood, she smiled and got right up, just behind me.
何も終わってない。何も終わってない。この事件は何も終わってなんかない。まだ続いてる。まだまだ続いてる。誰かこの事件を終わらせてください。この残酷で無残で気の毒で悲しいこの事件を終わらせてください。それだけが俺の望みです。
あの時一つ叶えてあげたでしょ。今度はダメ。
Mion firmly held the nail down on my fingertip, and with her other hand she slowly swung a mallet up into the air and... What? What? Hey, a new scenario has been unlocked. What the fuck was that? What? What? Whoa. Dude, I thought this was just going to be like a wrap up. What? I thought we'd gone through all the madness in the main fucking game. That was already crazy enough. But they had to fucking they had to fucking do that to us as well? What the fuck? Okay. What? What the fuck is this game, dude? Okay, that Mion was a hallucination. That had to be a hallucination. Had to be. I don't have a fucking explanation for the Mion we saw, or the Takano that we saw as well. Are they fucking, like, disguise kids? People knowing about them, but they were already dead. Maybe they were different people, or maybe there's fucking clones, for all we fucking know. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about something. You know what? Let's do the extra like scenario first. Then I can talk about the whole chapter just in review. And then I'll end the episode. Oh my god.
日暮らしの泣く頃に水綿流しを最後までお楽しみいただき誠にありがとうございました。今度のシナリオはいかがだったでしょうか。ちょっぴりでもお楽しみいただければ幸いです。ちょっぴりも何もまた大大バッドエンドですわ。プンプンでございますことよ。プンプンなのです。
いやー、みんなお疲れー。まあ何終わり方こそあれだったけど、今回のシナリオは事実上ミオン編みたいなもんだったんじゃない？私大活躍で大満足。にゃははは。あんなの大活躍とは言いませんですわ。私もリカも殺されちゃったですのよ。
しかもサトコはただのとばっちりなのですよ。
あんな死に方嫌なのですな。
ほら泣かないで。みーちゃんメインのお話だったようにサトコちゃんメインのお話もあるんだから、今から楽しみだね。
きっとサトコがひどい目にあってじわりじわりといたぶり回される話に違いないね。
そうなの嫌。
dies.
みーちゃん、悪ふざけが過ぎるとレナもちょっとだけ怒るよ。みーがぺったんこなのです。なでなでしたくても頭がわからないのです。あ、膨らんできましたわ。無節操な体ですのね。
やあみんな、お疲れさん。
また遅れて申し訳ありませんね。
God, I love this music. I don't know. It's just now in my brain.
富武さんに大石さん、どうもお疲れ様でした。あれ、高野さんとしーちゃんはまだですか？
もちろん来てますよ。今日はお招きいただきありがとうございますね。ここ座ってもいい？
どうぞですわよ。
これだけ一堂に集まると圧巻ね。どうかお手柔らかに。
じゃあ始めても大丈夫かな。これで全員かな。圭一を除けば全員なのです。
ってことは、前原さんは相変わらず収録が終わってなくて、早々に次回シナリオの台本読みなんですか？
気の毒な話ね。私たちだけで盛り上がっちゃ悪い気がするわ。高野さん、そんなの気にしなくていいんですよ。こういう時は思いっきり盛り上がった方がかえって気を使わせないもんなんです。
それもそうですわね。せっかくこれだけ集まったのにお通夜じゃつまらないですわ。
じゃあ圭一君には悪いけど僕たちでやらせてもらおうか。
Yeah, fuck you, Kochi.
そうなれば決まりだね。じゃあみんなコップコップ。炭酸が嫌いな人いる？
大人の皆さんにはアルコールもありますよ。
リカちゃんは何を飲む？ブドウジュース？オレンジジュース？
Bourbon.
みー、富武のと同じ泡麦茶がいいのです。こーら、リカちゃんもお酒はダメ。みんなコップ持ちましたですの？早く乾杯しないとジュースがぬるくなってしまいますわ。
おねえ、温度は誰が取るの？レナでいいでしょ。じゃあレナよろしく。
では5本。みんな綿流し終了。お疲れ様でした。お疲れ様でした。
Wow, crap, crap, crap.
じゃあみんな揃ったんだしね。また今回のシナリオを議論してみないかい？
そうですね。じゃあ自由意見でいきましょうか。誰か意見のある人はいますか？意見も何も今回のシナリオで謎は全て解けたのではありませんこと。犯人はミオンさん。諸悪の根源は全部園崎家。それで決着でございませんの？そうだね。みーちゃんは犯人じゃないって信じてたんだけどな。
大雨ですよ。 こんなのは前回の鬼隠しから十分予想できたことじゃないですか。
Yeah,
む
definitely.
しろ予想通りすぎて呆れちゃうくらいですよ。
Yeah, it was pretty fucking predictable.
そうですね。前回のシナリオをプレイされた方の予想の大多数と合致するんじゃないでしょうかね。
That's true.
みんなの期待通りの展開になったみたいなのです。じゃあこれで日暮の泣く頃に水のメインシナリオはほとんど終わりなのかな。
Let's see. Where are we at? Chapter 2 out of what? 8?
すべての元凶はみーちゃんの園崎家で決まり？
Yeah, we solved it. All the rest of the chapters are just, side stories.
そうかしら。私はむしろこれで園崎家犯人説はなくなったと思ってるくらいだけれど。あ、高野さんと意見が合いましたね。私も同じ意見。私はタタリなんか信じないけど、でも少なくとも園崎家が真犯人である確率は薄くなったと思ってるね。
どうしてなの？だってみーちゃんがみんなを殺したって自供したじゃない。そうですわ。私とリカを殺しておいて今さら犯人じゃないなんてどういう意味なんですの？
別に煙に巻くつもりはないよ。たださ、私ミオンが全ての犯人だとするにはいろいろと無理が多いんだよ。ちょっと考えればすぐわかるよ。
僕は園崎家犯人説の近からず遠からずに真相があると確信してるんだけど、ぜひミオンちゃんの説が聞きたいね。
ではご拝聴。ラストで私がさ、過去の事件に自分は全て関与しているって白状するでしょ。あそこで感じた大きな違和感が根拠かな。だって考えてみなよ。過去の事件が園崎家の起こしたものならすごいことだよ。だってどれもほぼ完全犯罪でしょ。園崎家以外の犯人や事故で決着するという究極の犯罪だもの。
That's true. Yeah.
そりゃそうでしょう。だって大きな力を持つ園崎家が暗躍してるんだもの。完全犯罪なんてお茶の子さいさいでしょ。そこが違和感なんだよ。過去4年間園崎本家の気配を全く感じさせずにあれだけ上手に人を殺したり消したりしてきたんだよ。そこへ行くと5年目の事件はすごくチープなんだよ。手当たり次第に片っ端から消して殺して、しかも園崎家とのつながりは簡単にカンパできちゃうしさ。
そう言われてみればそうだね。過去の事件はたたりとも犯罪ともつかない不思議な連続事件だったけど、今回の5年目の事件だけはすごく乱暴だったもんね。何を言ってるのかよくわかりませんわ。リカにはわかります？つまり園崎家が本当に犯人なら5年目の事件ももっともっと上手にやったと言っているのですよ。じゃあつまり何ですの？私とリカを殺したのはミオンさんではなく、ミオンさんに取り付いた鬼の仕業だったってことですの？ほらほら、やっぱり前回の私の予想通りミオンさんは悪い人じゃなかったのですわ。そうそう。で レナもサトコちゃんも何かが取り付いて悪いことをしてるって意見だったもんね。
Shit, by this point, might as well everyone be possessed by something.
じゃあやっぱり私たちの説は正しかったのかな。
Since now we got dead men walking, or dead women walking.
私も前回から引き続きたたり説ですが、今回のシナリオでさらに確信を深めましたよ。
I mean, Curse Fairy is like, I don't know, maybe. I see the whole demon possessing Mion thing. She, it's more of like a coping mechanism, you know? I think the whole thing with Mion becoming a demon was because of her jealousy of not getting it all. Really just like one domino in a Rube Goldberg machine of turning into a murderer, pretty much. That set her off and let this quote-unquote demon inside of her to let loose. You know, truly like go off the fucking handle and pretty much kill everybody. And actually, the whole Sonozaki family trying to protect the ritual storehouse, and the whole, like, the mayor and Rika-chan would bear all responsibility if the ritual storehouse was broken into, gave her justification to kill them, which made the demon much more powerful and much more the quote-unquote demon, by the way, much more sadistic. Basically, Mion went off the fucking handle, pretty much, because of the whole weight on her shoulders as the heir of the Sonozaki family, which in the past has been trying to be much, like, keep Himizawa, like, intact.
ラストのラストで私が明かす目撃されていたにもかかわらず、その数日前に死んでいたという高野さんやミヨンさんの情報はまさにそれを裏付けると思います。
That is the thing. That is something.
あらあら、前回は弱かったたたり派が今回は随分強気ね。人間犯人説の皆さんには反論はないのかしら。
前回人間犯人説だったのは確かみーちゃんにリカちゃん。
Fucking worker as a director. I don't know how the fuck he's doing it, but he's somehow doing it. He's called director. He's called director. Maybe these were actors. But here's the thing that's fucking me up. Like, really fucking me up. With Takano, I can see someone, like, disguising herself as Takano, since maybe they stole her notebooks and read all about it, and, like, you know, we're able to get a feel on her personality. Okay, that makes sense. If it was a person behind this, how the fuck were they able to know about Mion's quote-unquote demon? How the fuck were they able to know that if it was like a person acting as Mion? How would they know about the demon? So my theory right now is this. Shion got fucking forced by the director to go ahead, dress up as Mion, stab Kechi, come back, realize her guilt over it, then got pushed off by a member of the director's group. That's my theory, at least. That's the only thing I can justify it being a human behind it. Because with Shion, it's a bit iffy if she knew about the demon, like 50-50, but I think she like knew about it. So of course, and plus she was really close to her, you know, her sister, so it would make sense. And plus, the Mion we saw that stabbed us was a lot more unstable. Definitely a lot more unstable, kind of like Shion. So, I don't know. I don't know how the hell they convinced her to do it. Maybe in her, like, sense of shock. Maybe they said, oh, maybe Kechi was behind it, or something like that, to that nature. But dressed her up as Mion and went to stab Kechi and just got pushed off.
それから富武さんでしたよね。では張り切って反論をお願いします。
参ったな。うまい言葉が思いつかないな。
たたり派の根拠の一つが合わない死亡時刻なんですよね。
I mean, yeah.
じゃあそのトリックを崩せれば人間犯人説は立証できるわけですね。お、シオンには何かいい反論があるの？まあ一応。でも私人間犯人説ではお姉と同じ意見ですけど、園崎家が主犯だと思ってる点ではお姉とは違いますよ。それでもよければ反論してみせますけど。
何でも結構ですわ。これがたたりじゃないというならその証拠を示してごらんなさいませ。
じゃあシオンちゃん、さっきから話題になってるラストのトリック。ミオンちゃんは事件当日に井戸に落ちて死んでいたにもかかわらず、数日後に現れて圭一君とあなたを殺したのはどうやってなのかしら？
ズバリ園崎姉妹共犯説です。理由は簡単だって、お姉はあの時点でもう死んでるんですから、ケイちゃんをさせるのは私しかいないんです。
Finally, someone.
私がお姉の変装してケイちゃんを刺す。
Finally, someone shares my viewpoint.
そして実質へ戻り、幽霊との取っ組み合いの狂言をして飛び降り自殺。
Yeah, maybe it was over the guilt, but why would she stab Kechi? Maybe in the shock of it. Maybe.
強いて言えばこの場合のミオンちゃんは泥をかぶる役だね。村長さんたちに直接手を下し、シオンちゃんはただの被害者の形にする。そして井戸の中に姿を隠していれば、変装したシオンちゃんが神出鬼没にいくらでも殺人を犯せるって寸法さ。
なるほどね。だとするとミオンさんにとっての誤算は2つ。死体が見つかってしまったことと、隠れているだけのつもりが死んでしまったことってことになるわけですね。
あれれれ、確かになんとなく辻褄が合うような。
God damn it, it turned into an hour recording. Fucking this game. Ugh.
でもやっぱり納得できないでしょう。過去の完全犯罪の華麗さと違いすぎるもの。その計画、たとえうまくいってもミオンは悪役でしょ。一生隠れて、あるいはシオンのふりをしたりして生きていかなきゃならないんでしょ。窮屈すぎ。こんなの完全犯罪とは言わないって。
つまり死ぬにせよ消えるにせよミーはいなくなってしまうわけなのです。
リカちゃま、それいい意見。つまり園崎ミオンが表舞台からいなくなるのは彼女らのシナリオの一部だと思うわけです。だからラストでミオンはポンポンと過去の事件の罪をかぶるんですよ。全部の事件の責任を一身に引き受けて退場。そうすることで過去の事件の真犯人を隠蔽できる。つまり今年の事件はチープなんかじゃなく、過去の事件を丸ごと完全犯罪にするための締めくくりの事件、そういう位置づけになるのかな。
一番疑われてる園崎家の若き当主が全てを自白して失踪。彼女もしくは園崎家以外の真犯人にとってこれほど美味しい結末はないってことになるのかしらね。
Yeah, that's not fun.
話が全然わかりませんのよ。ミオンさんが罪をかぶるってどういう意味ですの？犯人なんじゃないんですの？つまりね、連続開始事件の真犯人が別にいるの。その人を守るためにみーちゃんが過去の事件も全て自分が起こしたと嘘の告白をしたってみんなは言ってるの。
That's very interesting.
これは劇中のセリフになりますが、とんだ名探偵さんがいたもんです。確かにちょっと説得力を感じますよ。
真の犯人をごまかすために起こした事件、それが私の推理。さらに言えば、その真の犯人は園崎家以外の存在だと思ってるんだけどね。
The fucking director, man. It's fucking director.
4年連続で完全犯罪に成功した謎の人物をさらに守るためにミオンちゃんが起こした捜査か乱の事件ということかしら。
そういうことです。鬼隠しのシナリオで名前だけ登場した監
Exactly.
督ってのがかなり怪しいかな。
Fucking finally.
すごいです。実に辻褄が合いますのですよ。
Crap, crap.
私はそれでも園崎家プラス姉妹が犯人だと思ってますけどね。御三家による古いしがらみを断ち切るために姉妹が起こした過去の清算のための事件、それが私の推理です。
過去の清算ってのはつまり暗躍の歴史に終止符を打つため御三家の罪を最後の当主のミオンが全てかぶり姉妹揃って退場したってことだね。
そういうことです。私たち姉妹が悩みに悩み抜いた末に選んだ悲しい物語だったというわけです。できすぎですね。
すごいです。実に辻褄が合いますですよ。
Crap, crap, crap.
あれあれ、なんだかリカちゃんにも意見がありそうだね。リカちゃんもどうぞ。では皆さんに質問なのです。圭一はどうして刺されなければいけないのですか？リカ、そんなのは決まってますわよ。入っちゃいけない細具店に勝手に入ったから決まってますわ。
こうして思い返すと、他のシナリオでも死んだ富武さんと高野さんの死もきっと細具殿に忍び込んだせいってことなんでしょうな。
Wait, that's the only mystery that's been solved. Or a question that's been, like, answered.
ありゃ、
おかしなことになってきたわね。
おかしなことって何がですか？あ、レナさん、そうですわ。思い出してくださいませ。そうなのです。例えば鬼隠しのシナリオでは圭一は細具殿には忍び込んでいないのに命を狙われているのです。
Exactly. Yes. Because he was fucking with Rena? I don't know. I don't know, maybe they gotta kill Ketchy because he's important somehow? In this one, it's pretty obvious why Ketchy got stabbed was because Mion, or Shion, or the fucking actor playing as Mion who's acting like Shion, or who the fuck knows by this point, stabbed Ketchy because he went into the forbidden storehouse. But in the previous chapter, he was just hunted down because... What was the inciting incident of that? He was talking to Oishii. I'm pretty sure. He was talking with Oishii that probably spurred it on. So... you know.
それはきっとほら ひなみ沢はよそ者を嫌うんだろ。だから圭一君も命を狙われたんだよ。
それはおかしいでしょう。
Yeah, that's the
だ
problem.
ったらケイちゃんの両親だって襲われていいはず。どう見ても両親に危機が迫っていたようには見えないね。今回だけでなく他のシナリオでも。
Maybe they're in on it.
さあさあ、人間犯人説の皆様方、圭一さんが狙われる理由がちゃんと説明できませんと人間が犯人とは立証できませんでしたよ。
Shit, that is a good point.
でもたたり説だとしても、やはり前原さんが前回も今回も襲われる理由が分かりませんけどね。
もう一息で解明できそうだったけど、やっぱり謎はたくさん残ってるみたいだね。
圭一君以外の人の死には何かしら理由が見つけられるんだけど、
That is true.
圭鬼隠しでもたらい回しでも、
I mean,
そして今回の綿流しでも。
I mean, are we sure he died in this chapter? No. Last
最
chapter,
後伝に
definitely.
踏み入るのとは
But
無関係に狙われてる。
I don't know, maybe it's because of his existence?
では今回だけではなく他のシナリオでも殺されるようなことをしちゃってるんじゃありませんこと？
Maybe Ketchy's the problem. Maybe himself, no matter the timeline, whatever he does, just fucks up everything. For some reason, I don't know.
なるほど。他のシナリオと今回の前原さんの行動に共通項が見つけられれば、それが全体の事件の謎を解く鍵になりそうですね。
ざっとシナリオを読み比べたけど、圭一君なりに日々を送ってると思うよ。最後伝の一件さえ除けば、圭一君の日々の暮らしに不審な点は見当たらないけどな。
圭一君、今回と他のシナリオの時に何をやったのかな。殺されるような悪いこと。迷った時には本人に聞いてみるのが一番なのですよ。
Get on the phone. Gotta fucking call him.
ほほう、俺が一人寂しく次回の台本読みをしている間に、みんなはそういう話題で盛り上がっていたわけか。
Yes.
ほ
そういうわけなの。だからね、圭一君の自分の胸に聞いてみてほしいんだけど。
ケイちゃん、殺されるようなどんな悪いことをやったわけ？
私にいつも働いている狼藉のせいに違いないですわ。僕に時々危ない視線を向けて妄想に浸っている顔はまさに犯罪者そのものなのです。
そうそう、年頃の女の子たちに囲まれて毎日幸せってのがそもそもの罪のような気がするな。
それは確かに重罪ですね。前原さん、実に羨ましい主人公役ですよ。たまには変わってください。
I'll play that game.
まあ確かにあれだけ役得がいろいろあれば最後にちょっと刺されるくらいお安いご用よね。
というわけで圭一さん、あなたの犯した罪を思い出しまして。
今回も他のシナリオでも清く正しく生きてる俺がいつもラストはひどい目に。
You know what? Here's my theory, guys. I don't know why he keeps getting killed. Because he's the main character.
その上さらに自分の胸に聞いてみろだと。聞きたいのは俺の方だぞ。これは何かの暴力だ。
かわいそうかわいそうです。今度頭をなでなでしてあげますですよ。
今回のシナリオを読んだ上で改めて鬼隠しを読むべきかな。私はミオンの立場になって綿流しを読み返してみるよ。ケイちゃんの立場で読んだ時とは違う発見があるかもね。
私は鬼の仕業だとずーっと思ってますのよ。
Well, guys, gotta reread the West.
すべての現象とトリックはすべて鬼で説明がつきますのよ。なんだかプラズマみたいなのです。プレイしてくださった皆さんはどうお感じになりましたか？ぜひ先に進む前にいろいろと推理してみてくださいね。
Put them down in the comments below.
まだまだ先は長いですけど頑張ってくださいね。
それでは引き続き日暮らしの泣く頃に推をお楽しみください。
I'm gonna drop dead because of the series. For my head going to fucking explode. Okay. Now I can explain my thoughts on this chapter. We're going. There was just supposed to be just like a nice ending bit to this like episode. Like I didn't expect it to go for a fucking hour. Like Jesus, fucking this game, man. Ugh. Fuck, it just sucks you right in. I thought it was just going to be like 30 minutes tops, but no, it had to be a fucking hour. But yeah, let me explain my thoughts on chapter 2. Holy shit. It's great. It's great. Chapter 2 is great. It expands on it expands on the war behind Onikafuchi, aka so many Japanese words I can't remember. Wanakagashi. No, that's the festival. God damn it. There's so many goddamn words in my head. Anyway, fucking Onikafuchi. For some reason that sticks out in my mind. Whatever. Onikafuchi village. We learned a little bit about the history. We learned a bit about the whole free family structure. In chapter 2, chapter 1 was definitely an introduction. Chapter 2, we went more in depth on the history of the village itself and its power structure of it. And we also had, the whole thing with Mion. And, let me explain my theory. Since we did all that, let me explain my theory. So, here's what happened. Pretty much the first half of this chapter was exploring the sisters, Shion and Mion, right? And basically how Mion was jealous she didn't get the doll, because if she had received the doll from Kechi, she would have probably viewed it as like a gift. But she didn't. And that was just a first step in like making the demon inside of her, which could be interpreted as a representation, that's the word, of the burden of the Sonozaki family, since she is the heir. Because of that responsibility. And because we broke into the ritual storehouse, someone had to be punished. And there were 2 candidates already. I mean, there was pretty much 6 candidates, Takano, Tomiki, Shion, Kechi, Rika, the mayor. 6 candidates to punish. And so because of how much of a taboo it was to go into the storehouse, the demon, quote-unquote demon, inside of Mion took this opportunity to make her a murderer. To kill all of these people, except for Kechi, because she loved Kechi. She wanted to leave him for last, but she still couldn't bring herself to do it. Now, here's the thing. Sadako, Wika, the mayor. Yeah. Am I missing anybody? No, I don't think so. Sadako, Wika, the mayor. Yeah, I'm not missing anybody else. These three were killed by Mion. That's a definitely 100%. We know that for sure. Definitely killed by Mion. Takano and Tomiki, I'm a bit, It doesn't feel right that Mion would kill both Tomiki and Takano. One, for Tomiki, because he died the exact same way he died in the first chapter. With the whole, he crawled out his own throat, which implied the syringe, once again. Which Rika had on her body, by the way, which is something to fucking note. Absolutely, write that down in your notes. I gotta make myself some own notes, and I gotta write that down, because that's fucking important. But, Tomiki died the same way, and in this chapter, they found Takano's body, which was burned alive after she was strangled. And that makes me think, she was strangled to death. Would Mion, who's pretty much a teenager, be able to choke out a adult woman? Would she be able to do that? I don't think so. Plus, Takano and Tomiki weren't really tortured like what had been with Wika, Sadako, and most likely the mayor, which were tortured underneath the Sonozaki home in the tunnels. And so I'm pretty sure those two murders were carried out by the director, and I guess the director let Mion handle the other ones? Maybe, as like they said, the actor said, maybe to cover up the previous murders, maybe pin it all on Mion. Maybe, that's quite a possibility. That makes sense for the director. But why would they get Shion, dress up as Mion, to stab Kechi? Why would they do that? Because I had this fear in the first chapter of Kechi was getting too close to the truth. But as we see for the second chapter, Kechi is nowhere near the truth. He is as far away as the truth as he possibly fucking could. He's getting little tidbits here and there, but we still do not have even like a fraction of the full picture of what's going on in this village. Who the hell the director is? Why does Wika have a syringe? What the hell was up with Rena and Mion in the first chapter? And who the hell was that group of guys in the black van that chased after Kechi, who got killed in the phone booth, or whipped his own throat out because he was injected? We don't have even a fraction of this picture. But yes, it once again, another great chapter. I'm not going to say it was better than the first one. I just think they're both equal. They're both great. But yes, I think this would be a perfect time to end this. Next episode, we're going to start chapter 3. So, yeah. If you guys enjoyed this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something? Put it down in the comments below. Want to check out my Discord server or my Twitter? Check the description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!